Welcome in Monday evening. We are back, and I have a very special guest tonight. You guys know who it is, Coach I. Your Georgia Bulldogs are coming off of a great win, a great ranked win, and your playoff chances are not only elevated, but very much well still alive. Can't wait to talk to you. But before we dive into all of that, as always, man, how you doing?
Hey man, doing good, man. Listen, wanted to come on last week so I could express my frustrations with the old Miss game, but had to trade my car in. Hate being at the car dealership, but got that done, and I'm ready to talk some football today, though.
What'd you get? Because I think I'm about to go through that venture of trading a car in, and
Listen,
I
man,
need a
I
truck.
I have such short patience when it comes to that. I end up getting a Jeep Grand Cherokee, high altitude. But like I'm listening. I know what I want to pay. I don't want to pay anything down. I'm trading my car in. Call me when the paperwork is ready. And then they did that, but then the guy has to try to upsell you on all the extras. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to get back home. I'm like, I came here at 6 o'clock. It is now 7:30. Y'all close at 7. I'm trying to go home.
Yeah, let me
So,
out of here so you can go home. I can go home. We all
right.
win. You sold the vehicle. Let's just
I,
call it what it is.
Right. You got me. I'm done. I'm in. So nah, man, I'm good to go now.
Latoya, thank you for being here. Joseph, tough as nails. Well, I'll tell you who else got, and that's Tennessee. And,
Mm.
as an Alabama fan, we were talking in the green room, and that game, I know that this might not be a popular opinion amongst Alabama fans. The Tennessee loss hurts me more than the Vandy loss. And I already know when I say this, I'm going to get people saying, oh, you're making excuses. Bama should have beat Tennessee. Ryan Williams was running open all night long, just couldn't capitalize. Now, part of that's because they have a good defensive front, no doubt about that. Great
They do.
defense that Tennessee
They do.
has. But Bama had so many opportunities to put Tennessee away and just couldn't get it done. That hurts more than Vanderbilt to me. But, Coach I, you don't have to have that conversation. Your dogs went out there, put them away, and one of the sweet, sweet things that we've seen on social media since is Tennessee fans complaining about what a poor officiating job it was. I'm going to play spoiler to anybody thinking that. I've seen poor officiating all season. Go back and watch Bama, Tennessee. That was not the case on Saturday
Well,
night. In fact, it's one of the better officiated games in college football. Coach I, talk to me. What were you thinking? Where did you like what Georgia did? What were you thinking when the game was close and Georgia was in the process of equalizing and staying in it? Give me your thoughts.
well, first off, shout out to Dog Nation. We called for a blackout. They showed up loud and proud. They was like everybody talked about the atmosphere, which has caused Tennessee loads of problems in Athens. The last time they were in Athens, 7 false starts. I think this past Saturday, like three false starts, and it's always critical false starts. I think right there at the end, we were up one. They're like on fourth and six, and they're going for it. And then the guy gets a false start. Now it's 4th and 11, so they have to punt. So that kind of thing. Shout out to the Dog Nation. But Tennessee looked like they was gonna start out hot. I'm like, okay, we start out, we throw it long to Arian Smith, and he drops it. I'm like, oh god, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yes, Carson Beck is playing not like Carson Beck, but you got to catch the ball. You got to give the guy some help his psyche, that type of thing. And I'm like, here we go again, and it's 10-0, and then Carson runs for a first down and trucks one of their DBs. And right there, I was like, okay, Carson ready to play. Now let's see who's going to come with him. Once we scored on that drive and we stopped Tennessee on the next drive, I was like, yeah, Tennessee might be in trouble tonight because now Carson looked like he having fun out here. He always looks like he's so worried. And the offense started clicking now. Listen, you said it. Tennessee has a good defense, especially that front. And like we ran just enough to keep them honest. Like, I mean, Frazier, Etienne didn't play. Cash Jones played a little bit. Frazier kind of carried us. We put Chauncey Bowens in there, who hasn't played but like 1 or 2 snaps all year. But at the end of the day,
I
when you
saw
got
him running. I was like, I pulled the Conor McGregor. Who the heck is that guy?
Right. But we had to because of injury. We put Dylan Bell back there, who played some running back for us last year. He's a wide receiver, but he ends up getting hurt. So then it's like, I mean, what do? You just got to play the bodies you got, right? The biggest change I would say that helped us Saturday, left tackle Monroe Freeland, true sophomore, starting, and we played the same 5 offensive linemen all game. We didn't Ernest Green, I don't know if he hurt or what, but he got absolutely whipped in that Ole Miss game. And so that helped us out. They kept Carson so clean on Saturday. I think Tennessee only got 3 pressures all night long. So
that's impressive with that front.
Right. And then shout out to Tennessee's running game. That dog, I told you in the green room, Dylan Sampson he's a baller. He's a baller. Outside of that, we pretty much made Tennessee work for everything that they got. Nico looks like he's going to be really good, going forward, but they got to get some wide receivers. Like, they dropped a couple passes, you know what I'm saying, that they could have caught. Especially there was one guy, it was a crucial 3rd down. He missed, it went right through his hands, one of their speedsters. And so I don't know why their passing game has been so inconsistent this year. I mean, I know they need to run to set up the pass, but Josh Heupel's supposed to be, that guy. So as far as that's concerned, and he definitely hasn't looked like that. So I definitely like Nico, but I'm interested to see where their receiver group goes after this season.
100%. And Jay is in here. Coach Carl's in here. Coach Carl, how you doing?
Doing well, my brother. How about y'all?
Can't complain, Coach. Can't complain. Jay, how are you?
I'm just holding on like a hubcap in the fast lane. Just shaking my way around it, man. Prayerfully, my internet doesn't fall off while we're on here. So it's been storming here. We went through tornado warnings all day, but we're good in that capacity. But it looks like some got damaged, and so it's like as soon as you sent me that link, Ty, I clicked on it and nothing moved. Why did nothing move? Oh, because my internet just went out. And so yeah, I'm praying that so it told me 9:00 p.m. is when it's going to be back, but we'll hope that this intermittent at least allows me to be here for 30 minutes. But thank you for
absolutely.
having me.
Of course. I still got your toothbrush in the back. No worries. And
I knew there was love here, man.
There you
this
go.
Is the only house that's got love for me.
I got you. I got you. I mean, Saturday, I'll hide the toothbrush, but we'll get
it's
get
okay.
to that here in a bit. We'll get to that.
I respect that.
Jay, before I pass it to you, as Coach I kind of was breaking down. Hey, there you are, Coach Carl. Roll Tide as always. And hey, listen, it's the rare occasion where I'm actually repping the team on a stream right now because it's that
you never
week.
Do.
I almost never do. Only on the Friday streams, but it's a good time, right? I do want to talk about this, Darius, before I pass it to Jay. Jay, I know that you're pretty in tune with that Tennessee program, so I want to get your thoughts on the game. And something Coach I said was that the passing game has looked inconsistent. I'd really love to get your take as to why. I mean, I get that Tennessee has played better competition than they did at the beginning of the season, but
yes.
You would think that it would still be an efficient passing game, but maybe not as explosive. It doesn't even seem efficient at this point. But before we get there, Darius saying, my scenario I brought up 3 weeks ago about Bama, Tennessee, Georgia, Ole Miss, and A&M, if either one makes the SEC championship game, they should not be penalized for losing the game. I agree.
That's a fair point.
That would put a precedent that teams are actively trying to avoid the SEC championship game. That way they don't get in a situation that we could see. I mean, we could realistically have everybody in the SEC have 2 losses by the time that game comes in. That Texas A&M Texas game, that's going to be a treat for college football fans everywhere. That's going to be a great game. I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. I am probably taking Texas in that game. All right. That defense is just so good for Texas. That defense is real good. The offense leaves something to be desired, but they have pieces on the offense. And that's where I think that with Sark and with the pieces, they can figure something out, but don't hold me to that. I don't quite know just yet. That's my way too early prediction. Jay, talk to me about Tennessee. Jason, how you doing?
What's up, guys?
What up?
Hey, Jason. So on the Tennessee piece, I hate to, well, I don't hate to say this, but because it's really is what I've seen out of this. Nico is showing he's young. It's it.
Yeah.
Like no matter what Hypos draws up, he's either overthrowing someone, underthrowing somebody. He seems like he's hesitant to throw it sometimes. When he's on, but it doesn't feel like he's consistently on, in which, Ty, we talked about this before the season started. Nico has probably one of the highest ceilings out there, but it's going to take time for him to get there. And it feels like, and as you mentioned it perfectly, the competition that they played has been tough. So he's maybe being forged in fire, but my goodness, he does not look good when a good defense puts enough pressure on him.
Nope.
He it's funny because everyone laughed at Oklahoma when they played against him, but the pressure we put that dude in, the turnovers he had, it looked like Hypo was like, let me scale this back because I don't want you to make any mistakes. Georgia game, watching that, he looked like he was okay trying to figure something out, but as soon as Georgia turned the heat up on, you start to see he was getting erratic. And in that game, unfortunately for Tennessee, they couldn't scale back. They had to go full throttle because they were down. And when you go in full throttle second half and Georgia's ready for you, because that's one thing Kirby's smart to do, he'll scheme your ass second half. He couldn't find a way. There wasn't enough muscle there to me. And honestly, Tennessee's offensive line is not that good. Like Dylan Sampson is really good. Their line is not that great. Sampson's a monster.
He's
line's
great.
not that great.
He's great.
Yes.
And he ain't even
if
that
you
big.
notice,
It's like
right.
he ain't even that big.
yeah, that's the wild part about it, right? But if you look at the two games where he struggled the most, Oklahoma, he had 92 yards rushing, Georgia 101. Outside of that, he was like 120 plus in the other games. He was getting it. But you could see that defensive, you could see that when Nico started to struggle and Sampson couldn't carry him, they couldn't go nowhere. Next season might be different for them. But this year, yeah, that's what got him. It's Nico just wasn't ready.
Is Sampson a sophomore?
Junior, if I'm
Oh, thank
correct. But let
God.
me look.
Oh, thank God.
I think he's back next season, though, so I don't think you should get excited about
Go
it.
make your money, bro.
He's a junior. He's a true junior.
Go
You
get
know
that
what
money,
I
Sampson.
Go get that money. Go get that
Go
money.
get that money.
Go get the money. Go get the money.
Ain't nothing for you in college, man. Go get that
nothing
money.
Yeah, you don't
true,
need
brother.
this.
Go get the money.
You don't need to, but no. But on a serious note,
is a high second round draft pick right now. So
right. So there's a good chance he's gone. But no, but seriously, Kent State, he didn't need to play. They won 71-0, so they didn't really count. Oklahoma, 92 yards on 24 carries, 3.8 yards a carry. Georgia, 101 yards on 19 carries, 5.3 yards per carry. But everything else was either 112 and up. Like, they lean on him heavy, and he couldn't even get 20 carries in that Georgia game. Because when the floodgates opened and that score got bad, they had to find a way to get that ball out and get it going, get it up. It couldn't kill clock like they normally would.
Right.
And because Nico wasn't able to really stretch the field, and because, like I say, his passage just didn't look right. He's young, man. That's what it is. I think youth is what got him in this game.
So would you say, Jay, that's why Hypo only tried 2 deep shots all game? One was a pass interference, and one Nico overthrew by like 15 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Because I think I put it this way, and as you point that out, I think they were more nervous that the pressure was going to get there before the play actually develops. Because, sometimes Hypo's plays require a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And again, that offensive line is not that good. We've seen it. It's not. Right. It has its moments. It ain't that good.
What y'all fail to realize is this, man. Georgia stayed with the 2 high safety.
We did.
Yeah. Malachi Start being that Malachi Start were healthy and playing, it's hard to throw the ball deep on Georgia with a healthy Malachi Start. I don't give a damn who you are.
I agree with that.
We made a
change
in corner too, because
but the other thing too that Georgia got the thing I have to worry about. They can blitz 4 and get pressure.
They can blitz.
That's what was killing Tennessee all
they just send 4. They don't have to blitz. They send 4 and they're getting pressure. That to me, even like
that's how
I
Ole Miss
agree.
beat us.
Malachi
That's how
starts
Ole
a
Miss
monster.
beat us. That's how
Right,
it gets beat up.
exactly.
That's
Rushing
Malachi
forward,
Stark's a
getting
beast.
home.
I will not discredit him or in that secondary. But they ain't got to do no work if the front four is getting pressure constantly. They got to get rid of that ball. Heupel's plays require some time, a little bit of time. They require sometimes about 4 seconds. If you're back there in 1.5, 2, what's Nico going to do? Panic. We're not talking about a dude that played Georgia last year. He didn't get in the game against Georgia last year.
That's right.
Panic.
Well, and to your point, Jay, and what you're saying, both Coach Carl and Coach I, there's a reason why, as much as that Tennessee loss kills me, that Bama lost to them. Jay, I was telling these guys, I've gone back and rewatched that game 3 times, twice on the All-22. Bama had guys streaking open, just couldn't hit them, right? Just could not capitalize. But where I do give credit to Josh Heupel is their offense was getting nothing in the air. And he said, okay, they're putting a lot of pressure on Nico. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to roll the dice and make sure that our right side is protected. We're going to roll him out the pocket and give him 2 reads. That way he's out of the pocket, he's moving, and that's when they hit the real long pass. The real long. I was like, that's a great play call by Heupel. Like, that's a great call in the moment to be able to try and get your guy going.
Let me add to that, though. That's perfect. I'm glad you said that, because you know a team that you can't do that against? Georgia.
I was about to say,
As Texas. As Texas.
Out, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. That front four makes it to that. Those edges make it to where you can't roll out like that, and that was the problem for Nico. There was no rolling out like that in that game. Heupel schemed it right because they
That's a good point.
They went against that Alabama front to find a way to get him away from where the pressure is potentially going. They hoped it to scheme people one way and then they go the other. That was the goal. Can't do that against Georgia. Texas ran into that exact same problem when they played against Georgia, because that's what Sark does for Quinn. He'll scheme him to move as well. Even though Quinn's not a scrambler.
He's not,
but he will move with the pocket. He can move with the pocket, and it's because Sark will say, "Use your 2 options. I'm gonna move you here, go here, or get rid of the ball." And sometimes Quinn will run it and then get hit, but they scheme it that way. Can't do that against Georgia's front, and that same thing with Ole Miss. You can't do that against Ole Miss's front. We figured that out in the second half. That was basically all they did. Right? As soon as our left tackle got hurt, they said we're going to send everybody on that backup left tackle because he's a redshirt freshman. Blitz like crazy on that side only. And it killed us in the second half of that game. You can't do that against Ole Miss either. So it's like certain teams you can and can't do that with. Yeah. Georgia just that front just won't allow it because it wouldn't give them enough time.
The brilliance of when Heupel made that call, Q-Rob wasn't in. Q-Rob was like, it was the one time where they had Q-Rob subbed out. And so Bama's best edge rusher wasn't in there. And it was great timing for everything to happen. But I did really like that call Heupel made, because I was like, man, that's smart. That's great. Go ahead, Coach.
You're losing the mobility of that quarterback. And then also, comes off of that quote unquote concussion, right?
Nico.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nico coming off that injury, after that concussion. Hey, man, you may be nervous about, I don't know if I really want to move him like that, too, especially against that defensive front at Georgia.
That's a really good point, too. That's a great point.
You got to keep that, because he takes one hit.
He took a couple in the second half.
The big issue.
See what I'm saying?
One of the bigger things y'all fail to realize about Georgia is only weak at one position on defense, and that's run defense.
Right.
Everything else, they solid. Like, they linebackers are not as great as the linebacker they had the last 3 years. They're taking a step back. But now you can run the ball on Georgia, but you cannot pass the ball that well on Georgia. You gonna have to kid Georgia with like Ryan Williams just was a freak, had made a freak play. You're gonna have some freak athletes to beat Georgia. Ole Miss found a wrinkle when they roll them out of start. They were rolling them out of start down to the box, and then Ole Miss started attacking them across the middle in the safety bump. When soon the Maris start roll down, Ole Miss attacked that spot he just left. So Lane Kiffin figured out a way to attack their defense. That's how he started scoring. Tennessee with Josh Harper comes in the game with a scheme. And schematically, he knows his team, he knows his scheme. It's not gonna change. He's gonna keep on running until you make a mistake. In the first quarter, Georgia wasn't ready for that widespread offense. But the second half, when Kirby made the adjustment, Hyper couldn't never adjust to what Kirby was doing. Most teams playing Kirby smart. If you can't adjust to, you don't have a second half game plan, you're not beating Georgia. Lane Kiffin had a second half game. He had a second half game plan. He came out with a first half game plan, and he had a second half game plan. That's what helped Lane Kiffin. What happened with Caleb DeBoer, he had a first half game plan that he should have jumped up by 40, and then he was just trying to hold his way through, but he didn't have a second half game plan. In order to beat Georgia, you're going to come out of here and play good in the first half, but your best plays better be on the back end of that second half because Kirby make the adjustment, and if you're not ready, Kirby going to run you in the ground. And when I seen Tennessee jumped up 10-0 and they didn't do nothing from that point, I already knew it was over with.
For Taylor, there you go. You have a good one.
Good point. Good point, Coach Carl.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Listen, not only did he just give some great analysis, it sounds like he just got something good as well.
Right. Have a good one.
Jealous.
I just got some good grub.
There you go. Jay, talk to me about this Talk to me about Georgia, Tennessee. What were your thoughts?
Jason, I can pass it on to you on that one.
So, ask the question again, man. I was just reading the stuff.
Oh, well, before you go, I apologize. I want to give
Coach J,
which is Jance.
There you go.
Yeah, Jance. Okay,
Jay taking it over.
I'm gonna say we got three. Ironically, the three J's are literally at the bottom, so we got to.
I did not do that on purpose, by the way. That just happened.
Oh, what's going on, Coach Jance?
What's going on? No, I everything was that was just said previously. No, that I agreed with definitely with that completely. Tennessee's one of the best rushing attacks in the country. Again, they can spread you out with the run with that running attack, kind of that veer look that they kind of really do give. They have a very physical offensive line. They have the right personnel that's kind of designed for a lot of those blocking schemes that they do decide to kind of run. And then Sampson, like I said, he's a very patient back. Very, very tough. He's not the biggest back in the world, but he's very, very patient. Knows how to set up the blockers correctly. Has really good acceleration and run up and pretty much run up in contact. The dude is really, really good. And again he sets up a lot of kind of play action. Play action opportunities for Nico. Again, a lot of it is that again it's just predicated off the run. And so Georgia again was able to make the adjustment and they were able to kind of neutralize it. And then all of a sudden now you're forcing Nico to what happens now post snap. Right, post snap play. Can you go through your progressions? They're going to take away your first option. What can you do? Can you go through the full? Can you read the full field? Can you how quickly can you process? Knowing the type of athletes that Georgia does have, because they have the athletes that they can definitely kind of cover the field from linebacker at safety, even at corner, even despite kind of the youth that they are. Again, Hypo's not Kiffin. Hypo is not Kiffin. He's not Sarkisian. He's not going to make those immediate adjustments. That's going to throw. That's going to throw off Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann. He's not that type of coordinator. He's one of those things that he has a scheme specifically made for 4 quarters, and he's going to continue to attack it. He's not going to show you anything that's new. He has a style that he believes, he has the correct personnel in mind that can ultimately win him a lot of those, that can make Tennessee a contender. And so Nico is young, and he is someone that I think that as he gets more experience, he is going to play a lot better within this offense. But I also think that this offense needs to evolve. I really do think that this offense needs to evolve because it needs to help the quarterback out for post-snap play. I don't think that this is an offense, even with Hendon Hooker as the quarterback, that it really kind of sets him out during that phase of the game. I just don't think that the offense is tailor-made for it. So, listen, they're a really, really good football team. But when you're going against the Georgia defense like that, you have to have an offensive mastermind. You got to have the right scheme and play where if you have to make mid-level adjustments, you can do that quickly. You have to have it. And unfortunately, I just don't think that this Tennessee offense is kind of equipped for it, or at least you have to have the right horses in place in order for you to kind of absolutely throttle this Georgia defense. And unless Tennessee was just going to run over Georgia all day and and I mean all day, which is going to be, again, Tennessee had a lot of success, but you're going to have to do that consistently for 4 quarters. And Georgia is good enough where they can make the adjustment to, where they can become a bend but no break sort of defense. In terms of Tennessee, in terms of their playoff hopes, man, I don't know. Like, it's, I guess we'll talk about. I don't know if we're going to talk about it a little more, but these playoff rankings are gonna. I don't know what the hell's going to happen when it comes to these SEC teams. I don't know. So this, unfortunately, this is the part of the season where if you lose, you're just going to be out. Compared to if you would have lost this game earlier in the season, you would have had a lot more hope. But the committee, man, they believe that losses in the second half of the season hurt more than they do in the first half. For some weird reason, that's just the way that they think. That's just the way that they are. And unfortunately, we're just to a point where Tennessee suffered an ugly loss against Arkansas. And now this loss against Georgia, their only great win against Alabama. And there's a lot of teams like it. Ole Miss, Alabama were like that as well. But it's when they lost those games that, unfortunately, helps their case. So I don't know what this is going to do for Tennessee in terms of the CFP rankings. But this was a tough, close, competitive football game. I'm going to disregard the garbage TD. But I think that this was a competitive football game. Tennessee hopefully should still be a top 12 football team. But you just never know what the committee rankings are going to do. The committee is unpredictable. It's even worse than the computer rankings, in my personal opinion, because they don't even follow their own procedures. And so we'll see what happens with Tennessee on that aspect.
Well, I can give you who I think should be left out in that scenario. And they're not going to like it, is Ole Miss. And it's because Ole Miss has a great win against Georgia. They lost to Kentucky. They have the worst loss in the SEC in terms of an SEC. Like, Vandy's better than Kentucky. Arkansas is better than Kentucky.
Right.
So you have a great win. You got worked by Kentucky.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
That was a bad game.
So
bad game.
Everything is equal, and I'm pointing at, okay, let's pretend Texas beats Texas A&M. Then you're looking at Texas and saying, okay, you only have the one loss, and then you just beat A&M, and you beat Arkansas and Vandy. And listen, don't roll your eye. Vandy's not a gimme this year.
See, that's what I'm saying. Are we sure Tennessee gonna beat Vandy at the end?
Well, that's what also where I was going with this, right? Like, that's gonna be a game.
That's gonna be important.
Assuming everything kind of holds equal,
right?
I think it's gotta be Ole Miss who is out, because you lost to Kentucky. And I can't believe it. Like, that's the worst loss of any of the playoff viable SEC teams.
Kind of like Jance said, though, it's probably going to be more so for Ole Miss that they're going to hold that Georgia win higher than that Kentucky loss, because it was at the beginning of the season.
That was what I was about to say. If all records stand the same as it is right now, it'll be Texas and Ole Miss in the SEC championship, which is great for us in Tennessee. It'd be great for us, Georgia and Tennessee, because we won't neither one of us should take another L, unless Bama's just went to bed against Oklahoma and Auburn. We should not take another L. So Georgia won't take another L. It'll be a tight game against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech gonna bring their heat. They don't whoop 2 top 10 asses already. So Georgia Tech gonna come bring their heat. Georgia better come prepared to beat Georgia Tech, because not Georgia Tech gonna beat them. But Bama, Georgia, Tennessee will be prime position, because they won't play another. They should win out. They basically should win out, and they should all finish 10-2. So they won't take another loss. Ole Miss and Texas gonna take the biggest hit, because Ole Miss lose against Texas, they significantly done. And if Texas lose against Ole Miss, how far do Texas drop? That's gonna be the biggest key, because now you gotta put Ole Miss in, and if Texas loses at that point, now you 10-2 like the rest of the SEC. How far will you fall, knowing that nobody lost nobody else lost that weekend? Do you penalize a Georgia team for not playing in the championship game? Do you penalize Bama or Tennessee, being that Tennessee the one that took the last loss? Do you penalize Tennessee?
Well, that's
because
the
they
tough
took
part.
the last loss.
Well, if Texas takes that loss to A&M,
they're out. They got to
because
go.
they don't have.
Not,
they wouldn't have one
A&M.
ranked win.
I think they probably beat A&M. Just saying the SEC championship game, right? The way it stands right now, it'll be Texas and Ole Miss, and Texas take that L to Ole Miss.
It goes by your record against common opponents. It's not just it won't be Ole Miss. It won't be Ole Miss because
Bama beat Georgia.
Yeah, it's a whole round robin, yes. But if it's a tie, it's not just about. It won't just be between Ole Miss, Bama, and Georgia. It'll be Ole Miss, Bama, Georgia, Tennessee,
and Tennessee.
And if Texas A&M or Texas loses between them two, it's going to be 4 teams.
It'll be
5 teams.
It'll be a 5 team. But
right, so
Texas
it won't
A&M,
necessarily.
If Texas A&M lose, they'll have took the last loss. So
what I'm saying is that's not how it goes. After when it's a tie, the second I'm looking at the tiebreaker right now. The second one after head to head, it goes to common conference opponents. It doesn't matter if you lost the last week of the season or not. It's a 5-way tie, and then they look at all the common opponents. So yeah, Ole Miss and Bama beat Georgia, but Georgia also beat teams that beat Kentucky that Ole Miss lost.
Ole Miss beat
Texas A&M would have had a loss to Texas. Georgia beat Texas. You see what I'm saying? So they would have to go through all the common opponents to see who has the best record, and then you go. It's like 3 more that you got to go through after that. Yep. So it's gonna be crazy if all 5 teams are 10-2.
The 2 best wins, the 3 best wins is Texas, Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss, Georgia. Those are the 3 biggest wins.
Yeah, but that don't factor in when you talk about who going to the tiebreaker.
And then it goes to the record of the opponents you faced.
Record against the highest placed common conference opponents in the conference standings.
This is going to get weird. And that's why if you're Texas, you have to win.
That's why I was happy that Florida won Saturday.
Either, by the way. They're at College Station. That defense is legit too.
No, it is. It definitely is.
Texas A&M defense legit. And the way Texas played against Arkansas this weekend, Texas A&M has a chance to beat them because Texas A&M runs the ball consistently. They're going to make you stop the run, and then they'll beat you over the top when you commit 2 minutes. You got to commit 8 in the box. Basically, stop that running game. And you commit 8 in the box against Texas A&M, that quarterback is viable to throw the football on you. And if you don't put 8 in the box, that zone read, he deadly with that zone read.
A&M's. I'm telling you, man. I said this last week. That A&M Texas game. I'm telling you, my score prediction is going to be 12-9. That Texas, because I'm telling you, man. Quinn Ewers does not play well under duress. He doesn't.
And
he can't play under duress. And so, A&M's front line alone, just rushing with their base defense can get after him alone.
Not to take it off the rails, but who you think got the best running attack between the two, A&M or the Longhorns?
A&M.
A&M, no doubt.
Is Moss back?
1,000%.
Is Moss? That's what I say. I thought Moss was out.
Oh, it doesn't matter who's back there.
It don't even matter.
Well, Texas does have 4 running backs hurt, so it kind of makes sense. I mean, Wisner's their 5th back.
Wisner's nice.
They got bit. They got bit by the injury bug, but yeah.
Weiser might have been the best kept secret anyway. I think he's probably the most talented of the 2 backs they have. I think he's more talented than Blue. Blue just got the bigger name, and he just got a little more physical.
He's been around for a while.
Right. I think Texas A&M quarterback legs probably.
Yeah, Moss is done for the season, so it's on Amari Daniels. Yeah.
Yeah, Amari Daniels is fine. He's fine.
You still what do you lose when you lose Moss for the season? You put Amari Daniels back there with that quarterback, and both of them is a scat backs. Man, I mean, Texas A&M is lethal in the run game. You're going to have to stop that run game.
Might be with Jance. This might be 12-9.
Le'Veon Moss, and now you got Amari Daniels, which that's pretty good. You got that kind of a chamber. I got to give him that. But yeah, not having.
I'm going against the Quinn Ewers guy who again, Sarkisian's offense sets him up for pre-snap. He doesn't have to work. He barely makes the adjustments on the line. He doesn't have that much responsibility. And if Texas A&M can take away some of his options, it's over because he does not play well under duress. He's
And
not
Elk was one of the
great.
better defensive.
Coming into that UGA game, when Quinn Ewers was warming up on the field, I remember sitting in the chat and we were talking to Ty and everybody in the chat. I said, Georgia gonna molly hop Texas. Because when he looked on the other side and saw how defensive line warming up, his whole facial complexion changed. He got scared. And when he got scared, I knew the game was gonna be over. It's big games, big time defenses, and you know that big time defense is coming. He's afraid of that big time competition. It never fails. It always shows up. Pay attention to him. Once you put him in a big game against big time competition, he get nervous. And it went from Sarkisian having to put Manny in the game, and he's seen that Georgia defense wasn't really biting all that hard from the sideline. I don't think he would have came back in the game. If Georgia was still attacking and he was still watching them on the sideline, he's like, oh, they coming. I don't think he would have came back in the game. He came back in the game after sitting on the sideline watching Manning sit there in the pocket, not being afraid of the defense and the pressure coming. And he was like, shit, I ain't gonna let this guy come in and take my job. And he went back out there and made a few plays. And Kirby stopped listening and let him get her back in a little bit. But man, the Kirby had to keep that pressure on Eli Manning Jr. But that's who he played like. He played more like Eli when he was younger than he do Peyton. But if he kept the pressure on him and never let him get outside and start utilizing the skill set and making a few plays, I don't think Quinn Ewers would have got back in that game. I'm just telling you, I don't think that boy has the heart.
Rand says, what quarterback plays good under pressure? I mean, that's the way to get any quarterback, but then there's also acknowledging that, like, even if we were looking at the top quarterbacks in college football, Quinn would be below most in terms of his ability when pressured.
Jackson Dart. I seen him play.
I was about to say different quarterbacks in 2023. Carson played good under pressure as long as you didn't move him off his spot, which is why it's so shocking this year that he hasn't played good under pressure. So
I've seen Dylan Gabriel countless amounts of times playing under duress.
Right. I mean, CJ Stroud didn't care.
There's a conversation there that I don't think we're ready to have, right? But
I mean,
Diego Pavia.
Look at Shedeur
Sanders. Shedeur played.
Sanders always on the pressure.
Let me tell you, he played better under pressure.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He plays better under pressure. Like, it's like he purposely gets under pressure so that he can throw the ball under pressure.
Yeah, and I know the Texas fans are going to hate me. Shedeur is an exponentially better quarterback than is Quinn.
Shedeur is a baller, though.
Let's be honest with ourselves here, guys. Quinn is going day 3. He's going day 3, guys. We can be honest here for a second, guys. We all thought that he was going to be a first-round quarterback. It didn't work. He's going day 3, and it's fine. It's fine.
He definitely. I mean, I think one of the things that's going to hurt him the most is having not been healthy since his sophomore year of high school.
Yep, crappy footwork. It's not an accurate deep thrower. It's not a mobile quarterback. Injured. And he's 205 pounds. I mean, what?
How tall is Quinn?
Like 6'2"? 6'2" and a half?
That ain't helping either.
I mean, I just what's the pro? What's the pro about him being a first round quarterback or even a day 2 guy?
He's got
rocket arm.
He's the first round guy this year, though. Everybody was saying that was what he was going to be.
He's got some hard talent.
He's made it clear that he's not, but his arm, and the upside was that, he went into Alabama last year and got a win.
Well, let's be honest here. Like this, I'm going to keep it a buck.
He should have gotten it.
No. He should have. Quinn against Alabama last year was such high-level quarterback play. I mean, he was automatic in that game. I got
picking on a freshman,
but it's also where did you place the ball, right? Like he had wide receivers who were running routes and did this, like they didn't even have to extend, did this, and the ball was dropping, right? I mean, and even against Michigan, right? I mean, he was on against Michigan, but it's the inconsistencies. I think that the biggest thing that's going to kill him, because let's be honest, whenever we're talking about these NFL scouts, it's their job to devalue prospects. How can I get the best value pick for my team? Why do you think we don't hear anything about these guys, and then the day or weeks before the NFL draft, there it is, right? It's because they're devaluing the prospect. With Quinn, the big thing is going to be injuries. Like, that's going to be the thing that every NFL team is like, okay, we're not going to take the risk on you over all of these other guys because you haven't played a full season since you were a sophomore in high school. And that breaks my heart to say, because I've defended Quinn, but that's just the fact of the matter. Like, that's just a fact.
I think it's more than that, Ty.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's more than that when it comes to Quinn Ewers. I think that there are a lot of red flags about him. That I just don't think teams are like, Now, I agree with you. I agree with you completely. That in terms of, I think his height, being the number one recruit, I think the fact that he has a very strong arm also has to come into play. But you look at Quinn Ewers, like you just said before, it's the inconsistent mechanics, which leads to the accuracy issues, particularly when he's trying to throw off platform. It's the footwork in the pocket, which definitely can be which is going to affect his timing and ball placement, which it definitely has. I mean, last year he was considered one of the worst deep throwers in the country. His decision making can be questionable. He forces a lot of throws into tight coverages. He lacks the size because he's 6'2", 200. You're 6'2", 200 pounds, and you can't stay healthy. He can't read he's not a full reader of the field, and he's slow when it comes to. Slow when it comes to progressions. Again, how many times do we talk about when it comes to Quinn Ewers that he doesn't set his feet when he's throwing?
I mean, he relies too heavily on the arm,
maintaining and it's messing up his delivery. Like I'm sorry, like he can't run. Sloppy footwork, some can definitely be mechanically flawed. No. I mean, like NFL scouts and especially when they actually test him and because he's gonna have a low RAS score. You know how valuable RAS score is.
Yeah, think about this, Coach Jance. He's a senior, and he can't even call audibles on his own. Steve Sarkisian do not give him the freedom to call an audible. So if he think he sees something, he can't auto out a play and check into another one. Because exactly. I don't think he can read defenses. And the biggest thing about quarterbacks, if you show me some pre-snap, I should be able to check out of this play and check into another play. Because even in high school when I was playing quarterback, they give you 2 plays. So if you see this look, then you check into this look. And if defense adjusts, we always go back to the first check, like go back to the first call. I don't even see him making check calls. You see him standing in the pocket. In defense shift, he don't walk to the line of scrimmage and make any check calls. He'll turn around and look at Steve Sarkisian. But you a senior quarterback. If you can't make your own check calls, NFL is not gonna be able to have time. He'll be a career backup, like a career third string. Remember, like a Cooper Rush is right now, a career backup. That's all he can be in the NFL, unless the whole team go down and you forced to come in there, and then all of a sudden, you get some one read quick steps, and you got some 5 wide receivers that can take the quick strings and go and turn up the field like they do it in Texas right now. But the reason why he is such a good factor is because of the weapons around him. If you take him out of there and put him somewhere like Kentucky, Quinn Ewers' name will fall off the map. He's not that elite quarterback that can go in there and change the program. He can manage the program that you already have set up, but he can't change the program. When he got hurt and you put Eli Manning, little nephew, in that game, you can tell the difference between that team on the Manning and that team on the Ewers.
Yeah, Manning's going to be really good. Benji, Jalen Daniels, now that he's not throwing interceptions, Daniels was incredible last year. And he's looking in. So that, I hate to say this, that's kind of a casual take. What quarterback would do good at Kentucky? Did we not watch Jalen Daniels last year?
Kentucky quarterback?
Or no, he said Kansas. He said Kansas.
Oh, okay.
Kansas, not Kentucky. That's why I was like, Coach Carl said Kansas.
Okay.
No, I actually said Kentucky.
Oh, I thought you said Kansas. Then never mind, Benji. You're right. That's my fault. That's on me. You're good.
If you put him in Kentucky,
my bad.
And Kentucky has a pretty good offensive line. They have good running backs. They have 2 good wide receivers. You still put him in Kentucky. Kentucky's big issue is they need a stud quarterback. So you put him supposed to be a stud quarterback in Kentucky. I think Kentucky will take a back step because he's afraid to get hit for one. If you get pressure around him, too much pressure around him, he's gonna throw the ball away, or he'll throw an interception. He don't want to take no hits because he's afraid to get hurt. Every time you tackle him and you hit him too hard, he's coming out the game. He's getting injured, and that's been the last 5 years of his college career. Every time he took a hard shot, he done got injured.
Well, I mean, even back into high school.
So he's afraid of that thump, and you can tell he don't want to take no shots. So that fear factor.
He gets hurt every time.
That's another thing about him. Yeah, he get hurt. If you hit him hard, he's gonna get hurt. So that's a fear factor part of it. That's why I would love to see them go against Ole Miss in the SEC championship game, because Ole Miss gonna come, and they gonna constantly come with that defensive front, and he won't look good against Ole Miss.
He's not gonna get there, though. They're gonna get beat by A&M. Watch.
Yeah, most likely they'll get beat by A&M because he's gonna turn the ball over, or they're gonna bench him and put Arch Manning in the game. That's just gonna be a one or two.
Yeah. So as we're moving on, I did want to hit this comment because Texas boy, and I commented back, I don't know how you took this away from what Jance said, but it's actually to a point where it's impressive. He says, so are you saying Sark doesn't know what he's doing and he must trust Quinn? I guess you guys are all... He was complimenting Sark, saying that Sark has to do a lot in order to min-max. If you know Sark's offense, Sark wants to go deep. That's been an area where Quinn was, last or second to last in the Big 12 last year in deep ball completion percentage. So Sark is having to scheme around it. That's exactly what he said. So how you came away with that take is genuinely impressive.
That's hilarious that you said that away. That's so funny.
Impressive cognitive dissonance. But hey, listen, I actually am impressed, but not going to go.
Oh, God.
10 plus games one time, and everybody, Sark's the best there is.
Well, no, you know how I feel about Sark. I love Sark. I really love Sark, but I don't know how the takeaway was Sark doesn't know what he's doing.
You've seen him lose these big games.
Like,
he's 0-2 against Kalen DeBoer. We've seen him lose the big games, and they win and won. The one big game that he's won was the Alabama game last year. What's the huge game that they've won this year? Oklahoma. We know how down Oklahoma is. Okay, good for you. You won that one. But what's the other big game that they've won this year?
Well, and here's the thing, JW. That's all well and good, man. Like I said, I'd pick Texas over A&M. But hold on, Jason. Hold on. Where are we wrong? Like, where in our analysis about Quinn are we wrong? Truth and I had this debate last year. And Truth, I'm sorry to say it, because we've already I was 100% right. So I've debated with these Texas fans for a year, got told, not by you, Truth, but by others, that I didn't know what I've been 100% right. I don't want to be right on this. I like Quinn. But Texas boy, here's the thing.
I said he had arm talent. I didn't say anything bad about Quinn, Texas boy.
Well,
and we beat Texas. I didn't say that bad about
it's
Quinn.
One of those things where it's just like, listen, I did debate. I said he wouldn't be a first rounder. And he's not going to be a first rounder this year, I don't think. Because I have no bias in this. I just get paid to watch football, right? Like that's what I do. So I have no bias. My thing is like if you don't agree, that's all well and good, but where are we wrong? Because I love to have the debate. I grew up doing debate. Where is the analysis off, right? Like, I think Texas as an offense has a higher ceiling. I've never said he wouldn't go to the NFL. I didn't think he'd go out last year because he wasn't going to be a first-round pick, so it wasn't conducive to success when he has first-round ability.
Oh, he's going to the NFL. He's just going day 3. And I'll bet. I don't care. I'm willing to bet that he's going to day 3. I'm willing to do it.
Yeah,
I am 100% confident he's going day 3.
I think he's a late day 2. I think he's a mid to late day 2 type of quarterback.
I did say he wasn't going last year, Truth, because my thing is he's got first round ability, but he wasn't going to go in the first round last year. So come back, get your film up, and try for the first round this year. But the problem is I don't think he's going first round this year because of the injuries. Like, he got injured again.
Plus, most mock drafts are only taking 2 quarterbacks in the first round, and it seems to be Shadur and Cam Ward at this point. So even if he played great the rest of the season, unless they play bad, it could not have anything to do with Quinn. Just that most teams aren't looking for quarterbacks. They got it's a lot of young quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. 100%.
I could see. I don't think this is going to happen, but I could see a chance of Dillon Gabriel climbing up the ranks into the first round because Bo Nix was not considered a first round quarterback. Was able to go to Oregon for about a couple years. Worked with not Coach Lane. I forgot
Dillingham.
Yep. Work with Dillingham, and then his quarterback coach, which he brought from it was Dillingham. He worked with Dillingham and was able to kind of turn it on. But even then, like, he didn't have an elite RAS score or anything like that. He wasn't considered to have the strongest arm, and he went to the Denver Broncos. I could see Dillon Gabriel doing the exact. Dillon Gabriel's putting on some good film. He's putting out some really good film. He's got a good track record. I could see, even though he's not going to have an elite RAS score, he's not going to have an elite arm. I could see that as a possibility of him going in the first round. Riley Leonard, people are going to consider him Josh Allen, even though he's nowhere near Josh Allen in terms of a prospect. But he's going to run a fast 40. He has a strong arm. He's gonna have a 90 RAS score. Like he's gonna have a dominant RAS score. So you know how this works in terms of project quarterbacks. He may potentially be considered in the conversation, but in terms of Quinn Ewers, oh hell no, no. A lot of red flags. That I think again, Mac Jones. Now I think Mac Jones was more developed in terms of what he can do on the field than Quinn.
Like consistency and footwork, but Quinn has a much higher ceiling, like way higher.
Yeah, the ceiling is higher for Quinn, of course, but in terms of the floor, Mac Jones was the better quarterback in terms of floor. But our team's willing to make that thing, because now they're going to take a look at Mac Jones and saying, low floor guy, bust right now so far, bust. Bryce Young, even though I don't think Bryce Young, you put him in a better situation, I think he can perform, but 5'10", doesn't have an elite arm. He had all the other things in motion in terms of high football IQ, footwork, accuracy, consistency. It's not going to work. The NFL, we're moving in a different direction from Quinn. I'm sorry, the Quinn Ewers, we're moving in a different direction. Unfortunately, those are just not the type of quarterback that they're interested in taking now.
So, as we've had this, but have you first round ever? Once again, like Crunch, I love you, my man. Like but that's not necessarily like analysis, right? So, but have you seen some of the quarterbacks in the NFL takes in the first round every year? Yeah, 100%. And I agree, some of them shouldn't be, but I don't know. I don't know. Listen, I'd love to be wrong. But I do.
Hey, Ty.
Go ahead, Coach Carl. Because we need to get to OU Bama.
Right.
All right. Let's put it into perspective, Ty. You had teams like
talk about that right now.
Like the New York Jets, right?
Let's stay on this.
You had the New York Jets select 2 quarterbacks in the first round, and neither one of them works out. They were both busts. and they came in in the field with the same issues or the same, mental capacity as Quinn Ewers.
Well,
People are paying attention to the quarterback that the Jets selected that was a bust. They paying attention to other quarterbacks that went in the first round, stationary quarterbacks that turn out to be busts. They're not really going to take that chance. Only people that are going to take that chance on Quinn Ewers in the first round is a desperate team.
Well, and here's the thing. I do Crunch. As I was rereading your comment, here's what I misunderstood your comment. So as I was rereading it, I actually do agree with you. Right. I actually do agree with you. There is a lot of quarterbacks taken in the first round that I just don't think should have been first round quarterbacks. It happens every year without fail.
And with a lot of those, most of them is they see the upside and they don't want to miss out potentially. Because the biggest problem with the NFL, and honestly, that's trickled down to college football a little bit, except for your schools that have brains and know how to figure out stability, is everybody's job is up within about 2 to 3 years. And so they need to hit something now instead of taking time to develop, without realizing that these quarterbacks coming in are not NFL ready in college. The college systems aren't working as well anymore because teams are adapting to them quickly. I mean, shoot, you want to stop Patrick Mahomes, go too high safety, but they lost one game this season, and Mahomes ain't throwing the ball deep. Like, he's not played very well, but teams they adapt so fast in the NFL in comparison. Plus, you're playing with the 1% of the 1%. So it's not like we're playing with any type of scrubs. They're figuring it out. So they're trying that. But you're right. These teams and general managers will take these quarterbacks so fast and early in the draft because they're just hoping they can hit on something. But the bigger issue for them is it's going to probably take 5 years for some. I mean, look at Sam Darnold. It's taking 7? Geno Smith, 8? It's taking time for a lot of these quarterbacks if you don't play them year one. You play them year one, go ahead. You look at Trevor Lawrence right now. They're going to fall apart. Bryce, I mean, better situation, he'd probably be fine. But if you sat him for a couple years, I think he'd been even better. It's just the game moves so fast. It's hard to process that quickly. And so that's where the issue lies.
Time, especially if they're a first rounder, or even the first couple of rounds.
No, they think a first round, you got to play day one.
You got to play now. Yep.
Play other positions. Don't play quarterbacks early. Make them sit.
But that's exactly how they're not doing it these days, which is wild, right?
It's because they're looking out for their own jobs. They're all going to get fired within so many games. So, yeah.
Right.
Prime example, Jordan Love. They set Jordan Love for 3 years behind Aaron Rodgers.
3 to 5 years, something like that, yeah.
Look at the kid now.
Sam Darnold, he's jumped around from team to team. He finally got somewhere as a veteran. He's good. Geno Smith, he's got a few examples.
8 years, he's good. Geno Smith, 8 years. He paying out to be pretty damn good. It took him 8 years. You get the studs like Jalen Daniels. No, you get a Jalen Daniel. You get Stroud. You get those type of
CJ Stroud,
CJ Stroud.
Sometimes they hit. You get a Jalen Hurts that set a year and he hits. Yep. But they was already high caliber quarterbacks anyway. They was already making checks. Jalen went out to Oklahoma and learned how to make checks at the line of scrimmage, learn how to read defense from a different perspective, from a defensive coordinator type perspective. He went out there with a quarterback coach to learn how to read defense. Now Jalen Hurts he's good. You can have quarterbacks that can come out of college, the ones that actually go through progressions, read defenses, make checks, this and that. You have some of those kids that can come out here and just go and just make big numbers. Hayden Hooker came out there and put all those numbers up in Tennessee. He can't find the field. So
I think the thing about Jalen though is that a lot of that has to do with they watched what Lincoln Riley did with him at Oklahoma, and they're doing a lot of the same stuff. You don't see him trying to make those really, those balls that you got to fit into tight windows between that 12 and 20 yards. You're either throwing it deep or you're throwing it under 10. That's what he does. And they let him, go and run a little bit and do what he does best, which is be an athlete. But they're not trying to fit square peg round hole, and that's not what Lincoln tried to do with him either. You know, and I think that's why he's successful. He's never going to be that guy that's going to hit that 15 to 25 yard. You know, you got to fit it in a tight window. That ain't Jalen.
That's the same thing they're doing with Bo Nix and Denver. But you can't do that with Quinn Ewers. He's not that athletic guy that you're gonna put on the perimeter. He can make those throws on the run. He's not that guy. He don't have that dual threat mentality where either I can throw it or I can run it. It's not that. If you roll Quinn Ewers out of the pocket, they know he rolling the throw, so somebody trying to tear his head off. That's just point blank.
But I would think he can fit it in a window. He can fit it in that window better than a lot of the guys that we're talking. He can fit it in a window better than like Jalen can.
Oh yeah, he can spin the ball. We can't take nothing from him. He can spin the ball. You put him in a position like, I mean, you put him behind the Indiana coastline, he probably fit in perfectly. Because if Jay Flacco, what the name Flacco can pass the ball behind that line of scrimmage. Just about anybody can. Flacco 100 years old.
Yeah, when Quinn is consistent.
You can put him behind that line of scrimmage, and he'll flourish. You can put him in San Francisco. He'll flourish as a backup to Brock Purdy. It's places that he can go that he'll look really good. Seattle, they has a really good offensive line. So it's places like that he go to here look really good for a long, long time. You can put him as a backup to Jared Goff in Detroit. But they're not gonna draft him in the first round. That's why I say he's a day 2, day 3 type of quarterback, and then you'll get drafted to a team with a good offensive line and a good wide receiver core, and he'll be okay as a backup. Somebody get hurt, he'll come out there and he'll put up some good numbers. I mean, that's what type of quarterback he is, but he's gonna have to have a good line, like a Peyton Manning, like a Tom Brady. His offensive line breakdown, he done. I mean, NFL is unforgivable. He done.
100%. But speaking of OU guys, it's that time. It's that time.
Let's roll.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
Whatever do you mean? I have to go, Ty.
Bama versus OU this weekend in a game that we were all really looking forward to at the beginning of the season. I'm still looking forward to it, but let's be very honest here. I had really one big question for Oklahoma coming into the season. How's your offensive line going to shake up? And it hasn't been great. Part of that is injuries. Part of that is you lost everybody. And listen, y'all know how much respect I have for Bill Bedenbaugh. I think he's one of the best. I'd put him top 5 offensive line coaches easy in the nation, right? Love Kyle Flood out at Texas. He's done a great job. Bill Bedenbaugh's done a great job. I mean, some of these guys out here are just doing exceptional jobs. But even the best offensive line coach, even in the NFL, you lose all your guys, it's going to be real tough to piece that together. Whenever I look at OU now, I mean, we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't talk about all the injuries that Oklahoma has had. They've had to fight through. I don't think the scheme was great. And Jay, you and I talked about this before the season, and I hadn't been very vocal about it on shows, but I told Jay on the phone before the season started, I don't trust your offensive coordinator because I was a student at UNT. And I remember when Harrell left and he was really in charge of it, I walked out of games because they were so discombobulated, so disorganized, so undisciplined on offense. And I was like, hey, I hope it works, but I just don't know if I trust him. He's no longer there. It's just been a wild year for Oklahoma. Your defensive front is phenomenal. Love your defensive front. Love your linebacker room. And JW, listen, it's one of those things where I don't even, like, Alabama should win this game, but Oklahoma's in a position right now where they're like a dog that's cornered. And they know if they beat Alabama, there's no Brent Venables hot seat. Right? Like, that's not a thing. You beat Bama, I mean, you beat Bama, you rush the field. That's just what it's been. No, over the past decade.
And you're right. You're not wrong at all.
You beat Bama, you rush the field. Like there are goalposts and rivers in Tennessee because you beat Bama.
There's a lot of them.
There's
You're
two.
Right.
Don't get me with a lot of them. There's two.
Every
I had to poke the bear a little bit. Every
team in the last 14 years to beat Bama stormed the field.
And
we don't beat y'all much, but the only reason why we stormed the field because it was the Natty.
Yeah, that's explainable.
That's different. That's different. Yeah, we don't count that one. Come on.
We don't. We don't beat them. So
fair. That's fair. Right. Regular season, no. Natty, yes. So yeah, that's fair. So Ty, we did have that discussion, and we both had the same thing. We didn't have concerns. We had questions. And I had the exact same. I preached it the entire time. I said the saving grace for Oklahoma on the offensive side will not be the offensive line. It would be the wide receiver room. They'll create some stuff to where the quarterback can get rid of the ball quickly. Yep. But when your injury report is as long as a CVS receipt and it's 5 wide receivers, zero chance. So honestly, I'm just being honest going into this game. I'm just hoping everybody has fun.
Oh, no.
That's really it.
Oh, no.
I am at that point. And I'm at that point because that CVS receipt ain't got smaller. It's actually gotten longer. We lost 3 linemen.
Kendall Dolby and Gentry Williams.
Killed the... Oh, my God. I did a video Locked on Sooners, and we talked about who do we feel like was the player that hurt the most on both sides. Just one player, just to kind of have conversation. Defensively, for me, it was Kendall Dolby. Love what Gentry does. I love that. Really, but Kendall was so versatile from the blitz to coverage. And we haven't seen Gentry since last year. So he gave Quinn hell in the game last year. But I digress. Not having Dolby to be able to be versatile and move around and make it, because in that Tennessee game, that was one thing I noticed. When Dolby would move up towards the line, you would see Nico look at him. And he would pay attention to where he was at. And that's how Robert Spears-Jennings got that sack and stripped him and hit his elbow and got that fumble at like the 5-yard line, even though he handed the ball right back the next play. He didn't see Robert coming because he was watching out for Dolby. He's like, I'm not going to let that dude blitz me again, because he had been blitzing and giving him pressure a lot of the game. That dude, that was what he did best. Even a small guy, 5'11", maybe 190. He was a menace. He was so good at that. Losing him hurt. So yeah, adding that CVS receipt, I'm just hoping everybody have fun, man. Because I don't know if Barnes is going to play, so that's another running back down. He sprained his ankle against Maine. He finished the game, but it swole up and he couldn't finish. Still got your 5 wide receivers out because, of course, Deion Burks got himself a concussion against Missouri.
That was an awful hit.
And they didn't call targeting, so you know.
That was egregious. That was inexcusable, by the way.
I don't even know what targeting is anymore. I don't know. But then you transition into that. Jalil Farouk tried to come back. The foot doesn't look like it's right. He's in a red shirt. He's gone. So 5 wide receivers are still out. You lose two more offensive linemen at both your tackles, so now you have 3 linemen gone.
They your running back is better out. On the offensive line last against Missouri than they had all year.
But that's because they've been playing all year and getting their butt kicked most of the season. So as you grow up, you start to understand, stop touching the stove when it's hot. Remember my mama told you, don't touch the stove when it's hot. You keep touching it. At some point, you're like, I feel the heat. They feel the heat.
Jay.
So,
Let's be real, Jay.
They're playing better.
Alabama,
but they're not playing.
Town, Jay.
No, coach, I'm not. I'm telling you now. I'm just happy. I hope everybody has fun. It's senior night.
Alabama is coming to town, Jay. Come on. I don't give a damn if you have a team full of walk-ons. Alabama coming to town. Those walk-ons will give Alabama all the hell they got.
I hope everybody has fun. Now, I do think the LSU game is winnable. I think those boys will quit. I honestly think they're done with Brian Kelly. That feels like they're done with him. It feels like it.
Yeah, when he was crying about, oh my God, they're blitzing my quarterback as I'm trying to throw the ball to score. I was like, that's why you got your ass kicked.
Right. And it makes
exactly
it
why you got
so
your ass
much
kicked.
easier because nobody likes Brian Kelly. Like nobody does. We know that he has he has the ability to be a good coach, but no one actually likes him. So, because of that, that game may be one where they're going to quit. But Bama come to town. Look, man, I know, Coach, you're right. It's Bama. People are going to, they're going to turn up, get excited. I just hope that once the second half hits, we're all out there just having fun. Because by that point, I'm going to be counting how many turnovers we potentially will have before that, and then how much it just slows down. That's the thing. I just don't. We're too young. We've gone too far down the depth chart. Let's put it that way.
It's going to be cold as hell.
Yeah, I'm going to be out there too, like an idiot.
It's going to be
cheering
cold
on.
as hell.
It's a night game.
It's a night game, and we ain't going to be blowing. Bama kids ain't seen that type of cold weather.
Listen,
we ain't gonna be blowing.
I'm with Coach Carl. I think OU gets up for this game, and if they don't, I think that's more of a testament on Brent Venables not being able to get his team ready. I think
and that's a fair point.
This is still Norman at night. This is still Norman at night.
And they're gonna be like,
seven. Right, their front seven. Listen, Ty said it earlier. Jalen Milroe's passing hasn't been consistent. I mean, he can beat you with his legs for sure. But the passing hasn't been consistent. Most teams don't have an answer for Ryan Williams. But if he gets in that mode where he's targeting Ryan Williams 18 times in a game and not looking for the rest of his weapons, and that front for OU is teeing off, they could make this game uncomfortable longer than Bama wants.
They can make it the game. It's gonna be extremely cold.
Yeah. Oh, gotta put some more quarters in.
Here's
I hate you, man. I hate you.
You're gonna be getting paid.
I hate you.
Front seven, we gonna be pouncing their asses on that cold ass ground. Man, it could be a game. Do not take it like it could be a game.
OU's going to be coming to play, and the reason why is because they don't want to lose Brent Venables as their coach. Every one of these kids. I mean, I've got 2 players' parents that come on with me every Monday morning. They were on with me again this morning. Both of them have said more and more and more and more that they don't want to see Brent lose his job. I don't think he's losing his job this year. We're hearing some things, through the back channels about things that are going to happen. But if you go and you get embarrassed in your final home game of the year, whether it's Bama or not, they're not going to – that hurts him. And I think that the kids know that, and they want to play for him. So, look, are they going to get up for him? Yes. Are they going to win? No. Can they make them uncomfortable for a little while? Maybe. The one thing that you're going to have to do, and this is the only way that you're going to do that, is if you take away the running game from Jalen Milroe. You have to make sure that he cannot beat you with his feet. He's got to beat you with his arm. Because if you don't do that, it's going to be over by halftime. Period. Plain and simple. If you don't get in that dude's face and get pressure on him and keep him in the backfield, it's over at half. Go ahead, Coach I.
I was going to say, I think OU should try to play keep away, even if they can't really run the ball or move the ball. You still can take a long time on the play clock. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to.
It's like Vanderbilt, basically. Yeah.
Right. You don't have to hike the ball before 15 seconds. I mean, listen, do something different. You've had a week off, so you know what I'm saying? Who knows what they put in? But that's what I do. I just play keep away and then let that. If nothing else, that gives my defense a chance to rest instead of going out there and then in real time having the defense come back on the field every 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah,
I think we all think Bama's the better team, but I mean, can Bama cover the 14? Yeah, they can, but I'm just saying it's 7:30.
Will they? Yeah, that's the question. I agree with you there. Again,
in
second
Norman,
half,
senior day.
I'm not really thinking about the 14. I'm thinking about don't get beat by 40.
What that too?
Don't be LSU.
If Ryan Williams, right, don't be LSU, right?
Don't be LSU.
Don't do that.
Cooked.
Yeah.
Don't get scrambled.
And the biggest thing is do not occupy all your resources on Jalen Miro. Because even though he had been overthrowing Ryan Williams and a few other wide receivers, hey man, with that wind blowing, that wind will take the steam off the ball. So
it didn't take the steam off of it. It was going to push it further, right?
Oh, it will push it further. So some of that overthrow will be right perfect.
Well, he's got
with that big ass arm. If he cannot throw in that wind, man, we gotta stop. Come on. No. It's 65 degree crap. It's 65 degrees, man. If he cannot throw in that wind, he does not deserve to be on that football field.
Coach Jance, once you get that ball in the air with that wind circulating,
I know.
In the air.
Yeah.
If it's going deep in the air, that wind gonna catch it.
If you're not throwing a tight spiral, and I haven't paid attention to him enough to know if he throws a tight spiral, then with that arm,
it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
He's got a big arm strength, but I don't
because the velocity will correlate to the little circulation of the wind. So it'll be okay if you throw with tight spirals.
Yeah.
Well, and then here's the thing that you run the risk of, Jason, to your point. And then Jance, I'm going to pass it to you. I think Oklahoma is going to play a lot of single high safety because they're like, we don't want them to establish the running game, and we don't want Jalen Milroe to take off on us,
which is established in the running game. Yeah,
yeah. Because if they get it going with the running backs, or he starts taking off for 7 yards a pop, this is bad. So I think they're going to pull resources in, but then the problem comes if you don't get to Jalen Milroe. Who's covering Ryan Williams one-on-one on the outside?
Nobody can.
Nobody
in the nation.
In America.
You have to make sure that you at least get enough pressure on him to make him not throw it well. You know what I mean? You need him to underthrow it. There's some things you need to have happen. Again, it's the opportunities for Oklahoma to win are almost none, right? But you can make it tough on them. I mean, look, I think Jalen Milroe's a special player. I really do. I think he's unbelievably good. I think he's a first-round type of guy. I like him. But I know that the one thing that the best thing about his game is his athleticism and running, right? He's not a pure passer. This isn't Michael Penix we're talking about as far as what it goes with this offense. But what he does that Michael Penix couldn't do is he can eat you alive running the ball. If you allow him to do that, then the throws get easy for you because you can't stop him on the run. You damn sure ain't going to stop anything else. You know?
I think the game plan looks similar to what they did to South Carolina. Milroe's a better version of Sellers. And I know people remember the first 5 minutes, but after that, I think the game plan. I think the game plan looks defensively against Milroe. The difference is South Carolina doesn't have a Ryan Williams, so I mean you can't let Ryan Williams get out. But like Jason said,
you don't think Nicholas Harbor is
man? No,
that ginormous human being that runs like a 10 flat. No, that dude's not fair. He should not exist. I think there should be laws against people being that.
He's still learning how to play
more touchdowns in one game.
He is. He's still learning. I 100% agree.
Ryan Williams is
he's refined.
You're right. He's like a third-year player already. You know,
that's very true.
I got a question for the panel real fast. Is Ryan Williams a top 5 wide receiver in the SEC right now?
Yeah, he's the top 5 receiver in the country.
I was about to say.
No, I was
about to say. Wait, why are we saying SEC? I was about to say
because there's some great wide receivers in the SEC as well, right? But I would put him up there. But I just wanted to make sure it wasn't my bet. Luther Burden, Kyron Lacey, Trey Harris.
Kyron Lacey.
No. Let him finish. Give me the names.
I'm not putting anybody over him. My question was to make sure I'm not with crimson-colored glasses. I'm saying these are good wide receivers in the SEC.
Right. Who else?
Wilson.
Give me four.
Wilson from both Wilsons. Wilson from Ole Miss and the one from Florida.
I already gave you Trey Harris.
I'd say probably take Trey Harris over them, but I get you.
If we talking 2024, I wouldn't put Luther Burden up there. He went 3 straight games.
I'd put Ryan Williams over Luther Burden.
Right, I was about to say he went 3 straight games.
You just asked who.
But that's why I asked. Ty, I was kind of curious to who you would consider if we're
Gelato,
talking
that's
SEC,
Wilson.
who's your top, who would be
It's
in
Ryan
that
Williams
5? Not
and
even
everybody
in
I don't know
order,
which
but
Jay you're talking
yeah.
about.
Ryan and everybody else.
But yeah, it's Ryan. I think Ryan is probably is the most talented one in the SEC right now.
In
Now
the SEC.
there's
Yeah, I
arguments for you can argue for
in the country,
maybe
Jeremiah
Trey Harris,
Smith,
Luther Burns. I think Trey Harris leads us in stats right now, right?
Yeah, he hasn't played in 4 weeks.
Right.
And he's still top 5 in receiving.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
that's
telling you,
stupid.
Eugene Wilson from Florida is good. He just been injured.
Yeah, Eugene Wilson
He
is.
I think
talking
Elijah
about-
Badger. I think
talking
Elijah
about-
Badger is better than Eugene. Eugene.
I like Elijah Badger too, for sure. But
I'm just thinking about
Luther
who's
Burns
playing
and-
right
and
now
Trey Harris, you
and
talking
who do
about-
we think is the best
You basically
SEC
talking
wise.
physicality. You're not talking
It's
about
Ryan
raw
Williams.
skill.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Ryan on that one.
best.
I think Burden
Wide
can be, but I don't think Lacey's as good as him.
It's no doubt.
It's tough.
It's Brian Williams.
How in the hell Trey Harris got 987 yards? He ain't played in like 9 games. What is this?
Because he
What
was
is this? What is this witchcraft?
Because he was the
Because
guy.
he go up against trash.
I was about to say that. Yeah, I actually wasn't playing a lot of
You got-
people.
you
either.
got-
What about
he
Andrew
had-
Armstrong at
I think
Arkansas?
he had like 170 yards against one of those trash.
I like
teams.
him.
I like him
like him.
too.
I like him.
He's talented. He's talented.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree
I'll
with
take
you.
him
Wilson
over
over
Luther
there
Burden.
at Florida is
Yeah.
really good.
He's a
But
dog.
no, yeah, Ryan is just a different breed.
I mean,
and I think
Bond's not having
honestly,
a bad year.
what's even helped Ryan to me and being able to really break out is y'all having those veteran wide receivers still there. People weren't really paying attention to him as much, and then he just started destroying folks, and there's no way of catching him at that. He's just like, oh, if you're gonna be stupid, I got you.
Right.
Don't worry. I'm gonna run this route this way and let you think everybody else is gonna be involved and be it. Now he's just that dude.
Right. But
Yeah.
no, Chris,
Yeah.
we just talked about the SEC.
And think about this, fellas. If Jalen was reading Ryan like Ryan read defenses, Ryan have 1,500 yard receiving right now because Ryan will cut off a route because he know that a safety coming or the cornerback dropping, he can see it and he'll cut the route off and be wide open and Jalen throwing the route. So if Jalen was reading Ryan like Ryan read defenses and he was just reading Ryan, he'd be unstoppable.
Yeah, no, I listen, I would have put him in that upper category, but I just wanted to make sure we were all thinking the same. And Gelato asked, what about Isaiah Bond? I like Isaiah Bond. I think Ryan
having a good
Wingo's
year.
better. But I think if you're
though.
but Coach I, tell me this. I think if you told me right now you have the first pick between 2 wide receivers, do you take Isaiah Bond or Ryan Wingo? I take Ryan Wingo. He's a freshman, and I already think he's nearly just as good as Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond is now in year 3. I take Ryan Wingo. And that's no disrespect to Isaiah Bond. That's how good I think Ryan Wingo is.
No, as for me as a coach, like if the younger player is even with the older player, I always take the younger player because I can develop him a little bit more. So.
Yeah, I mean that's like I said, that's not a shot at Isaiah Bond. I think Isaiah Bond is fantastic, but I think Ryan Wingo. I think this freshman class of wide receiver is the best
in a long
freshman
time.
class I may have ever seen.
Cam
Right.
Coleman's another really freaking good player.
Yeah.
Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo,
really
Jeremiah
good player.
Smith, Ryan Williams.
Mazio Bennett Jr.
Mazio Bennett Jr.
Yeah.
He's a badass too. He is a badass too. I like Mazio.
Like there's so many good freshman wide
Shout
receiver
out to
out there.
Mazio Bennett Jr.
Hey man, he caught a little welcome to the SEC moment a couple weeks ago. Got a concussion, but he all right though.
Yeah,
Like there are just so many good freshman wide receivers.
They have been.
yeah, man. You haven't seen a freshman class like this in a long time with receivers, man. These guys are filthy good.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why I say Gelato. That's not any disrespect towards Isaiah Bond. He's really, really, really good. But Wingo to me is just different. Coach Carl says I'm froze.
You gotta put some more quarters in, Carl.
The quarters has got me in tears, man.
He's like, I got some good food, so I froze.
Say your time up, man.
What's funny? I mean, because I know we're talking about SEC receivers, man. I mean, we got I mean, you got. I mean, do we count Harold Fannin? Can we count him as a receiver, even though he's a tight end? Have you ever seen a tight end have put up the stats that Fannin has done with Bowling Green? I don't think I've ever seen a tight end ever in my life, and so far that I've researched, put up 1,200 yards receiving as a tight end, and we're 3 weeks away from the season being over. Not to mention he single-handedly almost beat Penn State by himself. They were bracketing him. They were putting safeties. They even slid their number one corner on him, killed him. I don't think I've ever seen a tight end do that. But so I don't know if we can necessarily count him. But I mean, we talk about Colston Loveland, which he is. I mean, Colston Loveland's going in the first round, but dude, I mean, Fannin, what he's doing is I've never seen it ever from a tight end.
Yeah. I mean, and tight ends are such a mismatch as well at every level of the game. They are a pain. And I remember talking to Denzel one time, and for those of you that know, Denzel played safety for TCU, then went on to the NFL, played several years. But he was one of Gary Patterson's guys, and if you know, you know.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Well, listen, after you get out of here, go on YouTube and look up Denzel Johnson, and you'll see him take people's heads off. Actually, I forget who it was, but someone was saying to him once that whenever OU would play TCU, the quarterbacks had a whole, area of prep, just being like, okay, find where Denzel is and go away from where he's at, because
you want to get their heads killed.
Well, that, and he's
yeah.
It was a running joke in high school that if Denzel didn't want to play football, he could be a doctor. I mean, super smart guy, really intelligent, and you know that Gary Patterson defense, it's super in depth, really hard system to learn. I was talking to him once about tight ends, and he said there's nothing that's a bigger pain in the ass for a defensive game plan than a versatile tight end, because you're in no man's land. He's like, they're too athletic for, linebackers, but they're too big for a lot of the safeties. Now, it helped that Denzel was a huge safety with the athleticism of a cornerback.
Absolutely.
So
think about Jermaine Gresham when he was at OU. I mean, good Lord.
I mean, Brock Bowers, Jermaine Gresham, Kyle Pitts, Evan Ingram, right? Yeah. Evan Ingram wasn't even a big tight end, but just a mismatch.
Yeah.
Just a mismatch. As we're winding down, here's a good question. Eric saying, I've got a question for you guys. Should Indiana be in the playoffs if they lose?
No.
They've played nobody until this.
They'll win a conference championship.
I think I was about to say, I think the Big Ten is going to still get 3 or 4 in. So
they
probably not, but they probably can be.
They may get them in there, but Penn State needs to win. Penn State needs to finish off and win out, I guess, basically, and that'll keep them out probably.
I hate the college football playoff committee. I hate this committee so much. I really wish we go back to the computer rankings, because it just doesn't make any damn sense.
Indiana's not good though. I mean, Indiana, they won by 5 against Michigan last. Let's not get crazy and act like they're really that good. Now it is the first time they've beaten Michigan in probably 40 years, but let's not get crazy, folks.
Yeah, they gotta hope if they lose to Ohio State, which I do think they will, that they keep it close, right? Just to be like, oh, well, I know we haven't played anybody, but when we did, it was a good game, and then it's like, okay, fair. But yeah, that's a good question.
If you're not going to win this game, then I don't buy it. I don't buy them.
Man, with me, I respect the hell out of Indiana. I ain't gonna lie. They won every game that they played. You can't never give them the respect. Even though the games may not been that good, or the teams may not be that good, they still won their games. So I mean, it's good to see somebody that never been in the top 10 just rise from the ashes, man. The transfer portal works for them.
Well, we'll see what their program really is this weekend, though. That's
I mean, you're gonna see what they're about this weekend. Which
now,
is, that's everything. But
if they beat Ohio State, kick their ass out kick them out. Don't even allow them to even sniff it. Don't kick their ass out of here. Get these Ohio State bums out of the college football playoff rankings. I'm sick of them.
Yeah.
Sick of them. Get them out. The only team they beat is Penn State's 2 losses. Get them out.
The best team that they've really beaten, Nebraska? Maryland, I guess. I don't know, man. It's not good.
They got a really good loss against Oregon.
Really? Yeah. Oregon
Indiana?
was lost.
No,
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yeah. Whatever.
Ohio State's probably the one. Yeah.
Indiana. I'm like,
okay.
UCLA? Is it
Mount
FIU? Is it? I'm not there, man. I'm not there. Northwestern. Look, I guess the Washington game 31-17. I guess I don't know, man. None of these teams are good. None of them. The only good one, I guess, would be the Illinois is a decent team, and they won in overtime. Okay. But they gave up 45 to Illinois. Who the hell ever gives up 45 to Illinois?
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough.
They're just going to run the ball every play. They first got to go in the air. They think you're, a kitty cat. So no, I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer in it. I will be if you beat Ohio State. But I'm not.
Yeah, if they beat Ohio State, there's nothing left to say. It's just all right, fair enough. You've earned your spot at the table.
Ohio State get out? Is Ohio State out though?
Here's the thing.
Indiana,
I think
Penn
so.
State. If the Big Ten gets 4 teams, then they're not out. But if they only get 3, possibly. If Penn State wins out.
I want to see Danny Cannell keep that same. So you want to be ranting about the SEC? Keep that same energy if Ohio State loses. Keep that same. Go on these same rants. Talk about how the committee's biased. Keep that same energy and talk about how the Big Ten, because if anything,
Danny Cannell
more undeserving.
Jance, the committee obviously is biased because Florida State should be in the playoffs this year.
Hell yeah, they should.
Florida, it's the committee's fault that they've only won 1 game. It's the committee's fault they suck. It's the committee's fault that Mike Norvella is inept. Danny Cannell's on to something, Jance. It's collusion. That's what that is.
It must be exhausting to be married to that guy, man. Can you imagine when they run out of his favorite cereal and shit?
Shout out to the ATX Sooner with the 199 saying, keep killing the content, boys. Boomer. Thank you very much for that, ATX Sooner. Looking forward to the game this weekend. Like we all said, Bama, I think, should win. But the one thing I think we don't need to disregard is that Auburn is next weekend. And so it's my hope that Bama isn't going to overlook Oklahoma. Now, I don't think they will, just because Bama has already been playing with their back against the wall, knowing that they're basically in the playoffs right now, where if they lose, that playoff is done. So they're already kind of in playoff mode.
Right.
Right. But with the Auburn game being next weekend, that's DeBoer's first Iron Bowl. They're going to want to show up big for him in that first Iron Bowl. Bama just needs to come in locked in. That's what's got to happen there.
Right. Definitely can't overlook them because let's not forget, OU is playing for something. They're trying to get bowl eligible. That means something in this year. I think Jason said it earlier this year. He went 5-7 his first year. You don't want to have 2 5-7 seasons. So they're trying to be bowl eligible. So I think those players know that. So I got Bama winning, but OU might have a little bit of extra juice this weekend. We don't know.
They definitely
will. A lot of extra juice, bro.
Ooh, wait, do we have
a lot of extra juice?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have. Okay, it's not been confirmed yet, so I'm not going to say anything.
What are you talking about? Are we talking about Jaden O'Neal?
No, is that a bad situation right now?
It's a good situation if you're Oklahoma. He's
okay. Well,
the talk is that he's moving up and he's reclassifying to this year and coming to Oklahoma.
That would be great for y'all because I really like his game. Very talented kid. Very talented kid. Keep your eye on the Hayes Fawcett's of the world, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. That's right.
The Fasusi thing.
Not for you. Not for you, good sir. I already know what you're thinking. I know you too well. You don't need Justice Terry. You already got all those guys.
Hayes says, "Go listen. I'm just reporting, man. Ain't no shooting." Hayes says it's about to be a fun couple of weeks.
But I have a little bit of work to do right now. It might seem, but yeah, just keep your eye on Hayes Fawcett, right? Because it might be, in the great words of "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia," flip, flip, flip-adelphia, flip, flip, flip-adelphia, and it's in Bama's favor. It's in Bama's favor, but I'm waiting for the official word.
Now I'm thrown way off.
So who is Texas playing?
Texas.
Who is Texas playing this weekend?
Auburn.
It's at Auburn. I thought
Texas A&M is playing.
Because I just keep seeing people saying Fasusi is going to be in Texas this weekend, but they're playing at Auburn. I mean, unless I'm wrong, because I was thinking, is that Texas A&M?
No, it's in Austin. It's in Austin.
Oh, Kentucky. They're playing Kentucky in Austin.
Kentucky. You know that's right. You're right.
Got it. I was about to say, yeah. Texas A&M is playing. Okay. Now, okay. Is that a big thing? Has he not been taking other visits?
Are you talking Fasusi?
Fasusi? Yeah, has he not been taking other?
He hasn't been, because he's been committed, and generally speaking, they don't.
Right.
When they commit, they don't go.
Venables does the clips. Yeah.
I think in this case, you got to shut up and let him go, because you're just praying that it doesn't fall apart. But it doesn't look. It's not a good thing. And he said on Twitter like a day ago that he was all in at OU.
Right.
Things changed, but I don't know, man. I don't know. This is not
where does he live? Like, where is he from?
North Texas.
Yeah, North Texas.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, word has just come. And Nostradamus is about to publish a video right here, right now. 1 second. Okay, video's published. Ladies and gentlemen, 4-star safety, top 50 player in the nation, Ivan Taylor, has just flipped to Alabama. Number 2 safety in the nation, the only position Bama did not have. What this means for Alabama, they now have 21 prospects in this class. They are now number 3 in the nation in recruiting. They have the least amount of prospects of anybody in the top 5. They have 10 top 100, 15 top 300, including the number 2 JUCO player in the nation, the number 3 JUCO player in the nation, and a kicker. It is good. It is good in T-Town right now. What a flip. That's huge for Bama. That's the one position they needed in the class. That's a huge flip. And it's Ike Taylor's son, by the way.
Yep.
He beat some bitches.
That's a huge flip, man, for Bama. That's a huge flip. God, that's good news. Hayes gave that's a really sick edit. I'm not going to lie to you.
Hey, man. Bro, I'm tired.
Let's see if I can get it to focus. That's a sick edit. Sitting on the couch with Ryan Williams.
Hey, man. DJ Pickett was in Athens Saturday for that beatdown. Said Georgia
I heard that.
He said Georgia had the best. This is after, he's committed to LSU. This is after being at Bama LSU at night. He said Georgia had the best night game atmosphere. I'm not saying he coming to Athens. I'm just saying what the guy said. I'm just telling you what he told Hayes.
I saw that, and I was hoping we could go this entire stream without you acknowledging it. You don't need him. I'm going to send you some I'm not even going to get into it. I was about to say I'm going to send you some Marx philosophy. Share the wealth, down with the proletariat.
You know what? That is a good pickup, fellas, because, we were battling Ohio State for Taylor as well. So that just continues to prove why we are superior to Ohio State and why they should once again sit in the corner and mind their own damn business, because they continue to brag that they took Anthony Rodgers, even though that we already have a Keelan Beer already committed to us. And we knew that that was going to be a big possibility that he was going to flip somewhere else. But once again, for some reason, Ohio State continues to mention Alabama's name in the conversation, which I have no idea. You don't even belong in the same hemisphere as us. You have not won a national championship since the Obama administration. We don't want to hear your name discussed.
Damn, that was a long time ago.
Exactly. Exactly. Michelle Obama ruined my lunch. So that's why I have a huge issue with her with Ohio State back when I was going to high school. I don't want to hear any of you Ohio State fans ever talk about Alabama ever again. We are superior. We are despite us losing 2 commitments, we are still number 1 in recruiting because that is exactly what we do. We are Alabama. Ohio State, you need to go crawl in the corner. You need to focus on your marching band because your marching band, once again, you're not even winning awards for your marching band anymore. The $1 million marching band is looking like the $1,000 marching band. You guys are an absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
Head coach Ryan Day is going to get fired. You spent $40 million in the totality of 2 years, and you have not done anything you have not done anything. You've lost to an Oregon roster that's only spent a total of $7 million upon their roster. You guys are absolutely trash. I hope you do lose to Indiana. And again, before we kind of pass it back down to you guys again, this is just another win in the column. Yes, Ohio State can continue to brag and show footage about Ezekiel Elliott scoring the 85-yard run, but you know what they won't show? They won't show 52-21 in COVID. They won't show the fact how their quarterback Justin Fields was playing like he's just playing with just broken ribs all the damn place. They won't talk about the fact how their receiver Jamison Williams talked about how Alabama was the superior receiving school, how Alabama taught me showed me how to play the position over theirs. They won't talk about how Alabama has produced more NFL draft picks, has been more productive. Shout out to Deej, by the way. We've been out producing Ohio State at their own receiving production, and it hasn't been any damn close. And the funny part is, we had a receiver arrested. We've had a receiver been arrested. We've had receivers get copped out because of gambling and been banned from the league, and yet we're still out producing them at the receiving position. We are superior to Ohio State in every single damn way possible. And for all those Ohio State bums that came to my channel and talked about how we kept playing FCS in town. You know what I'm talking about because I shared those messages.
Yep.
This is why I'm on your ass, and I will be on your ass until you guys again continue to lose. I am sick and tired of these Ohio State fans. I hope they never say anything again. But you know what they'll say as soon as we get Taylor? We got Taylor, and they'll say, "Oh, we never were after him." But they'll sit. But as soon as we tell them about that with Anthony Rodgers, nope. So again, Ohio State, they're trying to be our rival, and again, I'm wasting my breath on them. They're just a waste of time. They can't even beat their own rival. They don't even belong in the same conversation. But it is what it is. Ohio State wants the attention. They got the attention, and now they can once again crawl back. Once again to their pathetic Big Ten conference foes, weakest Power 4 conference by metric in the country, and they can't even lead that division. They can't even lead that conference. I don't even know why I'm wasting my breath.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
They can't handle the truth.
Gelato with the 1999 saying, "Tell him, Jance, roll effing tide." Bagman, here's a message for you, Jance. He's saying, Jance, please don't roast my coach next. Yeah, that's not what you want. That's not what you want. Jance is the star of the show. I've never argued against this, right? He gets going, and I
that was wonderful.
Yep.
Much love.
Took Caleb Downs for $5 million, and they're still second in their conference, worst Power 4 conference in the country. Took him for $5 million. Where's it gotten them? Absolutely nothing. But that's just what they do, guys. They steal from other teams' rosters. They pay them a boatload of money based off their NIL collector. By the way, Quinn Ewers is still owed the $2 million that he was owed for that trucking company when you took him out of high school early. Yeah, we know. We know what you did to get Quinn out, but we won't talk about that.
Who the fuck is that guy?
My word. There's only one. There's one Ohio State
when you're
fan.
right, you're right, man. When you're right, you're right.
Listen, he's not wrong. There's one Ohio State fan that we all do have love for, and that's Ebony, right? That's the one Ohio State fan that you're safe.
We love Ebony.
You're safe. You can walk in these parts, and we will. You were spared. We do love you. We do love you.
Big ups to Ebony, man. We love you, Ebony, for sure.
But outside of that, they have been coming to Jance's channel talking reckless, and I'm not going to lie, Mercer would work Northwestern. You heard me.
Oh, those big facts. Them big facts. Big facts.
Oh, dude.
Mercer would work Northwestern.
Hmm.
So, guys, I think that's a great place to end it. We've been going for nearly 2 hours. I mean, we've talked about everything from playoffs, Bama, OU. I think I'm the only guy on the panel that's taking early. Yeah, Adam, Mercer is good. Like, not relative to Bama, not relative like to the top 10 teams in the nation.
No, but they were 9-1 coming in.
9-1, and they had the best rush defense in the FCS. Like, a good squad. They would work Northwestern.
They actually rank higher than three opponents on Ohio State's schedule in terms of the ranking of opponents, regardless of FCS opponents. So
they have good scheme too. Like, I think I text Jance and them this several times when we were watching the game. I was like, I'm impressed with what they're doing offensively, defensively. It's just they were very sound. They were just outmatched, like, completely. And Bama right now is exercising some demons from what the two Tennessee schools did. I don't know if y'all saw this, but whenever the election happened, there was all the voting maps. And you know how they color the states red or blue? The state of Alabama just had a picture of Diego Pavia on it. And I was like, all right, I don't even care. That's funny. I don't care. That hurts. But that's funny because he did beat both Alabama teams this year. It is what it is. It is what it is.
He wished he had that fifth-year option because we all know what Ohio State would do. He wished he had the fifth-year option.
Sooner in Texas, Maine lost to the Delaware Cotton Puffs or whatever they're called, the Nittany Kittens. They're not the same. They're not the same. Mercer is an exponentially better team than is Maine. Like I said, it's a team you should beat, but they were 9-1. They would work Northwestern. I do agree with you though. Like I said, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'll tell you what, Benji, I'm going to give, you probably already know this, some lemon pepper seasoning. Throw that bad boy in the oven for 20 minutes, and that salmon goes so hard with that lemon pepper on it.
Looking forward to this weekend, man. I can kick back and watch everybody else sweat it out.
Yeah, I know you're looking forward to it. A lot of good games this weekend. Great 2 final weeks of college football. Gentlemen, as always, as we you can go cry, Steven. I'll allow it. As we're getting out of here, I always want you to let everybody know where they can find all your great content. We're just going to go down the line, starting with Coach I, then Jason, Coach Carl, and Coach Jay.
You can find me on Fanatic Sports. That's at Fanatic Sports, YouTube, Twitter, IG, Facebook. Catch me there. For those that do tune in to Respect the Hedges, no Respect the Hedges tomorrow night. We are playing like UMass or somebody this week, and I got other stuff going on. So Fanatic Sports, check me out. Charles Crow flies high. I think he said he subscribed. Appreciate you, my guy.
Appreciate it.
Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame College Football. It's at HOF-CFB. Yeah, man, you can find me there or on Twitter, and we'll be on tomorrow night. 8:30 Eastern time is our normal Tuesday show with Jason and the coach. So jump in, check us out. We'll have fun. It's always fun that night.
Love it, man.
Thanks for having me on, brother.
Of course. It's a big week for both of our teams. Your team trying to get bowl eligibility, and Bama trying to stay in that playoff hunt. So there's a hunger from both teams. Going to be great. Coach Carl.
You can find me in St. Louis. No, you can find me at On the Block Sport Talk with Coach Carl on YouTube, and on Twitter is Coach KD Taylor. You can just hit me up on Twitter, man. I respond to all my messages when I see them, so you can just hit me up. We'll get up. I'll be free tomorrow night. Jake, Jason, if you're free, if you need me, I'll be free tomorrow night. I got a lot of free time now since football season over. So
Absolutely.
man,
Yeah, you can pop on.
I'm working on me some content myself. I was thinking about dropping one later on tomorrow evening, so that may be what I do tomorrow evening to drop me a video that I've been working on. I just don't know anything about editing and all that stuff yet. So if you get some time, Ty, I need that help, bro.
Anything you need, you just let me know. Any way I can be of help.
Yes, sir. I
Same
need
here.
that help on trying to learn how to edit stuff, man. Like drop a video, edit. I need to learn how to set the YouTube up right so it'll look more professional. So whenever y'all are free, man, y'all let me know. So before I drop this video. And everybody else, man, Coach I, man, they love to have you on here, man. Coach Jance, you know it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
sir.
And I gotta check out your channel, Coach. I keep forgetting the name of your channel, but I just wrote it down then, bro. So when I get off, I'm gonna go log into your channel, man, and I'm gonna subscribe right before I get on my class tonight. I'm gonna go subscribe to your channel, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all all have great content, man, and I love it, man. I love it, man. Y'all be safe, man. Roll Tide, brothers.
Appreciate you, Coach Carl.
Roll Tide too, Keith in there. I see you in the chat, man. Roll Tide, brother.
Listen, and if you are looking to get some Bama gear before the game, head on over to Home Field. Use code ATTS15 to get 15% off vintage Alabama merchandise. Gotta love it. Now, Jance, as you're giving your final goodbye, we do have a request from Eric. He says, Coach J, can you give Brian Kelly a shout out?
Yeah, Brian Kelly. Yeah, Brian Kelly. You know what? I'm not gonna go that in on Brian Kelly because I think he got exposed. I think LSU fans, they know exactly who he is. Brian Kelly, they can't. Unfortunately, they have to pay $60 million for his buyout, so he's gonna be there. So you know what, LSU, you pay for what you got. You got. Listen, like we were saying earlier, guys. No one likes Brian Kelly. No one likes him at all. His receivers don't like him at all. And calling your receivers uncoachable. That's just once again, that's to tell the cake. But again, that fake accent, once again, a lot of people thought that the fans was just going to buy into him after that fake accent incident. But it is what it is when it comes to Brian Kelly. It is what it is. Since he's been there, they've lost 3 games almost every single year. This is going to be their fourth lost season, and it can be worse. LSU can finish the season 6-6 and play in the Frosted Flake Bowl for all we know. But Brian Kelly, it is what it is. This is exactly what you got. And I have no sympathy for LSU at all. I have no sympathy at all. They kept calling us out. Their media won't leave us alone. You guys know what I'm talking about. And it is what it is for them. You reap what you sow. You took a bite from the forbidden tree, and this is exactly what you're getting. You're getting punishment. You belong in purgatory. You deserve to be in purgatory, and no one's going to pull you out the strings. So, shout out to Brian Kelly for making LSU once again a trash football program in Baton Rouge. Nothing else to do in Baton Rouge there anyway. So I have no sympathy at all for Brian Kelly, but shout out to him.
Shout out to Brian Kelly. And where can they find your great rants?
You can find me at Jance Sports and Jance 716. I actually do have some footage. I don't know if I'm going to have to. I got to figure out a way to I know what I have to do, but I have some footage from that Bills game. We had to tell some Swifties off who was at the game. All the Swifties there, man. Like I said, because there's no Chiefs fans. There were some loyal Chiefs fans. No, I'll take that back. There were some loyal Chiefs fans that were there. We had a great time for them on the tailgate. But you already know the majority of the Chiefs fans were Swifties. She had a concert in Toronto. So as soon as they I kid you not, they were crossing the Peace Bridge. They were crossing the border in drones. Like this was just The Walking Dead. Like this was a zombie apocalypse crossing the Peace Bridge. Nothing but in just Travis Kelce jerseys, and they were trying to do their best to fill the stadium. It was a nice try, but they were there. They tried to play Blank Space and all these Taylor Swift songs, and because the stadium wouldn't play it, and we really got on that. There was a lot of broken discs. There was a lot of little girls crying there. And it was enjoyable for me because the Bills were able to go ahead and get the win. So hopefully we can do the exact same thing in the playoffs. But no, that was a great time indeed. But no, you can find some of that if you guys are interested in seeing girls cry. Jance Sports on YouTube, Jance 716 on Twitter, especially because I'm very active on Twitter. I'm in a lot of spaces anywhere, so you can kind of interact with me there. And also TikTok, also as well, Jance Sports.
Love it, guys. Love it. And before we get out of here, some unfortunate news on the Oklahoma front. Apparently, per Colin Kennedy, Fasusi is visiting Texas this weekend. And that's not great considering it's the biggest home game for OU all season, and he was supposed to be there.
Okay.
Not good. Not good.
And you had to just kick me in the balls on the way out, huh? Appreciate it.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Hey, Jason. Man, listen. At least you still can walk behind it, bro. So.
I don't know.
Dang, that's tight.
Yeah, and Kyle Flood is a hell of a recruiter, man. Like, you get him involved in these late moments.
Guy can recruit. Trust the process. Just trust the process.
Ty.
Yes, sir.
That's painful, man. Like, he going to Texas game when Bama come to town.
Yeah,
bro. I'm sorry, Jason.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Can't do nothing about it.
At least he's not coming to the game and leaving the game going on Caden DeBoer side of the field. I mean,
yeah, well,
it could be worse.
Listen,
I actually think he would prefer that.
Yes, I would prefer him not go to Texas for sure.
I think he'd prefer him going to Bama over Texas.
But then just shoot him an email then. Shoot him an email, hit him up on Twitter and just tell him.
Put in a good word.
Yeah, just tell him that y'all prefer him go to Bama over Texas.
Yeah, I don't know that. I'm not doing all that.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all later. Thanks for having me.
See y'all next time. As always, we gotta let the spinning wheel of doom have the final word. And it spins and spins.